Good afternoon. This is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com and welcome. Welcome to Big. Big is the gap of the day. Today is May 30th. And boy, this is just one of these trades where it's, you have high expectations of it. Beautiful, fantastic, amazing expectations of it, and it doesn't go on to fulfill them. This will run to the target and get to the target tomorrow. I think it's going to get there tomorrow, actually. And I actually thought I was going to get into the afternoon. This is one of these trades where I wanted to go over it as a day trade first, and then I want to go over it as a bigger time swing trade, which you could be in this as a core trade even still. And I noticed that this morning, or even before today, when I was looking at the overall gap. So here's how it's set up in the morning. Loved it. Beautiful, fabulous, aggressive entry right aways, which I tend to take, and was up in it immediately and was prepared to book half out of it. Once it dropped through 34, it didn't make it. Didn't make it, and then went over the high of the day. And I still liked it. Didn't give up in the gap, still liked it. Retook it then back up here, and the time that it was rallying here, this even looks like it's not going to work. I mean, for a millisecond here, I almost gave up on it. It almost looks like it's not going to work, except for I knew what it was doing, and I saw it, the overall bigger picture, and I knew that it was going to be fine. And not only that, I like the gap. So I retook it in here. And actually, then I did the ad. The ad was on the 5-minute and the 2-minute. The ad was actually at the exact same price. That's very, very unusual. That does not happen all the time. That did trigger nicely, though, with the confirmation in here today. And after that, it ran down really, really hard, like $1. Okay. Now, here was the problem. It didn't follow through right away. Now, we had a whole conversation in the room about this because I insisted that this was a great gap, and some people were, I think, losing conviction in it because of this rally. This was the high of the day, though. This 36.20 was absolutely 100% the high of the day, and after it did this activity, when it hit that number and fell into it that so hard, I knew that was the high of the day. Now, here was the problem with this thing. Let's look at the 15. You can see it better. It says after it ran down then, and by the way, this really didn't do anything wrong this morning except for just run up too hard. It even set up before 10 o'clock reversal time. It triggered here, though, at 10 o'clock and ran up hard again. And I'm seeing this even now, actually. Yeah, I'm seeing this even now. So, ran up hard again. And I just couldn't get off this thing. Could not even get off this thing no matter what that I did. And it even had another entry if you wanted to get back into it here in the 15-minute. I mean, if you wanted to play this, actually, if you didn't have your stop at the right place here, it did trigger in here. If you didn't have your stop at the right place here at the higher level, which would have had to been 81, you got taken out here before this ran on to work. This was just very tricky today. This 66, though, was a number. Let me show you where that was. And at first I thought the 50-something was a level, but then after it rallied up through it, I realized that it was 66. There it is. So this was the secondary level of resistance, okay? 81 was the other one, and then obviously high of the day. But 66 was the number. And after it retested that, then it fell again. And I actually thought it was going to break under the low of the day. I really actually thought it was going to break under the low of the day into here. And it just couldn't do it. 34.50 got down to. And then it bounced. 34.50. Here it is. Actually, let's look at this whole thing here. No, I can't see anything different in that. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, so this really is going to break the low of this bar today, this 34.11 number, but not today. It's going to break the low that it's set today for this trading day, which is going to close out in an hour and 15 minutes. But I don't think it's going to do it today. All right, but this was a short that had a tough, difficult setup in it. on the second setup. And if you didn't stick with it or take the second setup and hold it through, you didn't get anything in this. It was never a buy. It's not a buy. You can clearly see here how it's not a buy. It is a short. This is a discussion we're having in the morning, the fact that it is a short, okay? And it just didn't play out cleanly today. What is clean? Clean means set up right away, go, and you're up money immediately, go to the bigger target, do all the things it's supposed to do. This actually didn't even get to the first target today. It just didn't. But look at the way the daily chart looks on the bar. This huge monster topping tail, the bottoming tail in there. You know, if you didn't know where to get the entries right in this and have the stop at the right place, it was just a really tricky day to be doing this thing. So let's look at the overall bigger picture of the swing trade is what I wanted to talk about in this. And let's go back. Okay. Okay. So reading trends in charts is important, because that's how you can make money as a day trader, and that's how you can make money as a swing trader. The interesting thing is that the reason that the gap strategy that I do works so well, and the reason that I'm good at reading trends so well, is this. I am trading on a miniature time frame using the larger time frame for my strategy. And I am using a larger time frame for my strategy to make the overall bigger picture trend decision in what I'm doing, which I short bearish gaps, because I want to be on the side of large institutional money that's playing these stocks. If I am on the side of that, I will profit. I will be successful, and I am. When I set out to make my strategy and to teach myself how to do this, I didn't have that in mind. But as it developed, I realized that that was in fact the case, and the reason that this stuff works so well. So it's very, very interesting. I play in a 1 minute chart. However, my decisions are made off of a larger time frame. All of my gap points, the 26 points I use to rate the chart, and the trend of the chart. I'm using all that information off of a larger, bigger time frame, because I want to be on the side of the large money, which looks at a bigger time frame, which does not make decisions on a 1 minute chart like I do, but makes decisions on a bigger time frame. However, I want to be with that, in that direction, with the side of that, and yet my entries and exits and stops are with this miniature time frame. It's actually a brilliant concept and idea. I didn't start out to create it that way, but it turned into itself and flourished, and it developed into that exactly, which is exactly what I do. So this big trade, okay, if you wanted to do this big as a swing trade, you could have done any one of a number of different entries in this and been up money every single time it gaps. And how would you have known to do this? Okay, you would have to know how to read the trend, read the change in trend when it's setting up, okay, and then take the trade and stick with the trade to target, depending on whatever your target is a swing trade or a core trade. So, for example, let's just say you decided that you wanted to take this gap here, okay, this was in 2012 on big, for a larger time frame swing trade. What would your first target have been? Let's go back. And I'm just going back a year. I mean, I don't want to go back any longer than this, but I just want to use the last year, 2 years or so as an example. Your first target would have been, 38. It would have been 38, 38, 30, 38. So you would have taken it here in March, and within 2 weeks, you would have gotten to the target, less than that. And look how much you would have gotten paid, because it actually gapped past the target. So you would have followed it through in this trade in this day. And you might have been out, actually. You might have been out because you took this trade and it got to the target. You're out of at least 75% of your position because it went to the target. It actually went to the bigger target. Your target was 38, and the low of this bar here into the close of the day was 34.50. So you actually made $3.50 more. even more than you anticipated making. But let's just say you got out of 75%. You got out of 75% and it's wiggling and it's jiggling and it's doing all the wiggles and jiggles here, and it wiggles and it jiggles, and you're in the trade since up here, so you're not suffering. You're able to do this because you know how to read the trend in the chart. This is why it's important to know how to do it. So when the stock gaps down again here in August, what do? You get back in full in the trade. You get back in full in the trade. You took all the profit off here that you made, and you were in this during this day. Let's just say you took it at 43, okay, and you made almost $10 into the thing because it went way past your target. Target you would have made, you know, 5, okay. So you really almost doubled what your target was because you really got it right. You read the trend, you knew what to do. This is for swing trading now. So you decided to hold 25% of it still. This is all happening, you're up still because you got it in all the way up here. So you're fine. Then you take more here because this is a beautiful gap that happens here. All right. Now your cost average yourself into this. Your price up here is 43, so you get in more here at 40. It depends how much you take. Let's just say your average price sounds like 41.5. Okay. But you booked the money on this trade already for 75% of it. So then you're in it and everything's fine, everything's great, and guess what? It gaps down again. Gaps down again. This is in August of 2012. So now here you are again making, you know, actually $13 on this trade in here. And who knows where you would have gotten out of it. I mean, if you would have gotten out of it there the day of the gap, or if you would have wrote it down, could have gotten to 25, didn't make it. The low of this bar here was 29. You probably would have gotten out of at least 75% of it here again, or half, and then rode the rest down and managed it through. And, you know, today's gap is one of these things where, you know, it had a nice target at hand, okay? It just didn't do it on the day. I do think it follows through in here. Whether or not it happens the next day or in the next week, we'll have to see. This was a bearish play today, though. There was never any long in here. There was never any reason to go long in here. You don't go long a bearish gap. And it was a good gap, and it is a good gap. And it just, for whatever reason today, was being held up. Actually, I know the reason it was being held up today. The reason that this is being held up today, that it didn't want to break on through, is because when it fell into 34.11, it did not break under the open of this green bar here. That was the first thing. And also this back here. Didn't break under this bar here. So that's the reason that this did not go full on today. But those things are not going to stop this from working overall on the bigger picture to the downside. So the day trade in it today was tough on the short side. There was a nice play in it. You had to get it at the right price. It did not go to the target. So, you know, when things don't go to the target, you money manage them just like you would any other day when things don't work out perfectly. You take a good entry, you put the stop at the right place, you follow it through your money management. But the bigger swing trade in here actually has played out nicely all along, okay? And for example, you know, when you want to be in a swing trade is typically, you know, 7 to 10 days. I mean, it could be 2 weeks. But you weren't in any of this for any more than that, except for the portion that you kept of this until you added in here. But that was a good decision to do. And so would this have been too if you'd kept some of it. And even if you kept some of this and didn't get out of all of it and held some of this through all of this, you're still up in it. Okay? You're still up in your trade all along, even if you did the add here. So it is important to learn how to read trends and charts if you're a swing trader. If you take overnights, gosh, you're really gonna know how to do it. Any overnights at all, just for carryover for one night, for a swing trade, for a longer term core trade, and even for a day trader. And that's the one thing that I've just got it, which is that I am trading with a trend on a bigger picture, and yet I'm doing it on a miniature time frame. because I want to be a day trader, and I am a day trader, and I'm choosing to day trade because I can maximize my profitability with leverage on as a day trader and control what I'm doing and maneuvering in and out with size in a nice way because I see what's going on in real life time as a day trader. And so I can be nimble, and it's actually one of the most challenging ways to trade, but one of the most profitable if you can become good at it. So it's worth the time and effort to learn how to be a day trader because you can actually make a living doing it. And then if you want to, you can do these bigger trades on the swing trading time frame and the core trading time frame. So really, really nice swing trade and big for the bigger picture time frame, playing on the trend, and the trend is down to the downside. So it was one of those ones where you really profited if you knew exactly where to get in at exactly every right place and also how to scale out of it. And today's day trade will follow through and get to the bigger target. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. I'll have to keep track of this and watch it and see. Really was very choppy today and could have ended up going full throttle and running, you know, $3-4. Big can do this. It has the power to do it. Today, it got a little caught up holding in those green bars, but those people don't rule the world in the stock. It's evident from what's happened in the overall bigger picture chart. But for today, they were able to keep it up. However, the short play, the momentum in this today was on the downside. That was the correct way to trade this, and that's why the bar is going to close looking like this today. And it'll probably close with some kind of green in it. It's going to be a tiny green. I mean, this may actually even end up, this has been so ridiculous today as far as the back and forth. This may end up actually closing flat. I wouldn't be surprised if this closed at right around 34.75-ish. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it actually looked exactly like a neutral doji bar, but it had just humongous tails. So this is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com. I am reviewing the overall trend and bigger time frame chart of big for what was a swing trade that you could have been in this, and the day trade today with the earnings that came out this morning on this stock. If you have any questions or would like more information about the upcoming trend class, please feel free to reach out to me at Melissa at the StockSwoosh.com. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.